We don't know if we're on.
We're like live.
Okay.
But it's not showing up on the YouTube.
We're fixing it.
We're fixing it right now.
So we're not live.
No, we are live. Like it's not showing up. We don't know what's going on.
Where are we live?
Like on IG.
Okay.
and
Sorry, IG. Okay. Anyway, so this is
Just keep going.
okay.
We figured it out. We got it.
So do I need to start this thing over?
We got it now.
Nope, we got it now.
Is it live? Is it just picking up now?
It's picking up just now.
Okay, guys.
The recording got you in the beginning.
So you're fine.
All right, here we go. All right, sorry for the little glitch there. Will you pull that back up? We're going to keep this momentum going. Posture. By posture, this is what I mean. We're shaking off the doubts and insecurities and stepping into the truth of what you are and the value of what you have to offer without emotional attachment to any specific outcome. I love this. Listen, put these two words in your brain. Clarity and discipline. Clarity and discipline. You can only control what you can control. The times that we don't have clarity is the times when we're trying to control everything that is outside of what we can control. Matt, can you put up the second graphic, please? All right. Yeah, part of posture is staying clear of what you cannot control. This turns out to be quite an impressive list. All right, you can't control the weather, the state of the economy, the score of your favorite sports team, or what the person you're talking to is going to say next. And I am telling you, this is the secret to closing more deals. It is your posture, all right? It is your certainty and your likability. It is your clarity. It is your discipline. It is going in there with confidence, knowing that you can only control what you can control. All right? I mean, that is so huge to understand, because if we're thinking that we can control everything that's happening in the brains of other people that are sitting across the table from us, we are wrong. We can only control what's going on with us. So we have to follow a system. We have to be able to put in place certain things so that we understand, is this person somebody that we can help? Is this somebody that I should be closing? And I think that this is really important. On the eve of the Closers Olympics here, not quite the eve, it's on Friday, but the Closers Olympics starting Friday. It's a huge event. It's bringing in the top closers from around the country, and they all use different techniques. But let me help you understand something. All right? If you're talking to a lead and you're finding out and you're pre-qualifying them and you're understanding if this person, if you can actually serve this person with a cash as is offer. Right? Is this somebody that this is the best option for them? If so, move forward. If not, find them another path, and that's fine. There are plenty of opportunities. All right, but let's look at this. Let's look at the breakdown here, okay? There's three parts to this business, as we all know, right? We've got lead generation. This is where we're all start out. This is where all the front, all the front effort and action goes into. This is broken down really into marketing. It's broken down into referrals, and it's broken down into prospecting, either picking up the phone and calling or door knocking, being very proactive. So you've got your leads, right? Whatever combination of leads that you have, whether it's from referrals, marketing, or prospecting, that's your lead generation. The second part is conversion. All right, conversion is this is the part where a lot of people start to stumble and fumble and they can't quite figure it out. Right? This is where you feel like you need those closing skills. This is where you need those personality skills. This is where you need to understand how to effectively communicate. This is where you're building the relationship. Right? And then the exit strategy, that's the third part. This is where you either flip it, wholesale it, or buy it and hold it, right? Only three options. But look at here in the conversion side. We start with pre-qualifying. We start with saying, is this somebody that has the potential to do business with us, right? And this comes down to really understanding the four pillars of pre-qualifying. The condition of the property, their timeline to sell, their motivation to sell, and their price. All right, you need to find these things out. It's absolutely critical. And then this part. I don't know why this is so hard for so many people, is following up with the leads that you already have. You've already done the hunting. It's time to do the gathering. All right, I get it. I know our brains are wild. We love going out there and we love taking action. We love generating leads. But then it's the nurturing part that we really have to develop. It's the relationship part that we have to develop. It's the consistency. It's the stiff arming that they're going to give you. The ghosting that they give you for 2 to 4 weeks or 2 to 4 months or 2 to 4 years, but still staying there with the optimism that you can help this person out when the timing is right. The lead follow-up and then the offer presentation. This is asking for them to commit to you on this deal. Okay? So the offer presentation, this is huge. All right? So this is the start of it. This is the conversion start. This is all the, if you're wondering how do I become a better closer, this is the 3-step process. Pre-qualifying, follow up with them, build that relationship, and ask them to do business with you. Literally have them sign the purchase agreement. That's all closing is. Let's not like make this some mystical like thing. It's just, this should be the natural progression of these two things. The offer presentation should be the natural closing to do an incredible pre-qualifying and lead follow-up and building that trust that you can help these people out. All right? But let's talk about, before I bring in the incredible Rafael Cortez here, let's talk about some of the pitfalls that we face when we're trying to close. And I'm telling you, this happens time and time again. And because we can recognize them, you need to take a screenshot if you're watching this on your phone. If you're just watching this on your computer or TV, whatever, screenshot it, take a picture, whatever. Make sure that you understand these, because when you can diagnose something, you can cure it. Isn't that fantastic? So let's look at these pitfalls, and I see it time and time again, all right? Closing pitfalls. Number one is missing the decision window. And by the way, these aren't in rank or order. This is just what I see after coaching thousands of people around the country, after getting 80 to 100 text messages every single day, working on this with my one-on-one coaching students. Missing the decision window is huge. All right? Missing the decision window. What I'm saying is you're not following up enough. They told you, I'm not going to sell this for 6 months, and you don't call them for 3, and they sold it 2 weeks after you talked to them, right? Staying in front of these people. And what does lead follow-up really come down to? 80% of the time, it comes down to a text message and a voicemail. 80% of the time, they don't even pick up, but it's planting seeds. It's keeping you top of mind. Make sure that you are aggressive with your lead follow-up. Number 2, you just get outbid. You just get outbid. There's people that have more money. There's people that are willing to offer more or make less on the deal, right? There's people that are willing to do whatever it takes to get that deal, even if it makes it a super, super thin deal, or it takes them out of doing a wholesale deal on this and makes them do a fix and flip, makes them buy this as a rental just because they want to win this deal. You're going to get outbid. You are going to get outbid. But if you have a servant's heart and you understand what's best for that homeowner, if they can get more and it goes smoothly, they can get more and let it go smoothly. It's just part of the business. The point is to add so many new leads in from lead generation that losing 1 or 2 or 3 deals here or there doesn't matter. Getting outbid doesn't matter because you've got enough in your pipeline to hit your financial goals. Number 3, lack of pre-qualifying. I can't tell you, this is number 1 when people are starting out in this business, the lack of pre-qualifying, the lack of getting the condition, timeline, motivation, price. I don't want to get all those things, Brent. They might tell me that they don't want to do business, or they might tell me that they want too much for it. I want to get face-to-face with them and get the experience. I get it, and that's okay. But a lot of that is just you hiding. Let's be honest. A lot of that is feeling like you're building momentum in your business by going on appointments, but if they're not qualified and the likelihood of them actually signing an agreement, something that is binding to them and binding to you, is very, very, very low if you have not pre-qualified. Because you're going to find out that they want too much. You're going to find out that they're not really motivated. They don't really have a problem. You're going to find out that the property's in way better condition than a discounted property would go for. So lack of pre-qualifying, lack of certainty. That's that posture. That's that knowing, the clarity, right? The clarity and the discipline and the certainty that you can solve their problem. The first year or 18 months, I was like, I don't know. I hope that I could get this done. I was going and I was like, I know that I can do a good job. I know that I'm going to put all my efforts behind it. But then that little nagging thing, that little thing about certainty. Now, I think I could close every single deal. It's not even close. Now the certainty's bananas. Now it's too much. It's overflowing, and it overflows to the team, and it overflows to the whole organization. You know what I mean? That certainty that comes that you can go in there and do the best for that property owner. The lack of likability. This I see all the time. People arguing with property owners. Arguing. You want to build friction in a relationship? Tell them they're wrong. Tell them their price of $250,000 is bananas. Go ahead. See how that lands, right? You confirm and you approve as you're speaking with these property owners. Everything that they say, okay, I understand, sure, that makes sense. Okay, how'd you get that? So talk to me a little bit more about that. What do you feel? What is your goal, right? All of these things are really, really, really important so that you can build a good relationship there. Because they might tell you a price that they're just throwing out. They don't know. And you give them their price and they're willing to do it. It happens all the time, right? But if you tell them that they're wrong all the time, if you tell them, oh, this is going to cost $100,000 in repairs, not $15,000, and you start building that type of thing up, it's just gonna disintegrate that relationship, and you're not gonna be able to get that deal. All right. Sometimes you're gonna be out relationshiped. Let's just be honest. Okay. Sometimes a female seller wants to work with a female buyer. Sometimes the guy that's selling the property is a former Marine, and somebody that owns a wholesaling company or is buying is also a Marine. They build instant rapport, and you're off the table. It's going to happen. Sometimes you are going to out relationship a lot of people if you follow this channel, because you're going to understand how to communicate effectively. So I'm going to put you in the best position, but sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes they have family that are going to just get in there and work the deal. Right? Sometimes they're going to have some sort of referral or something going on that they already have a relationship, and they just think it's easier to just go that way. You're going to get out relationshiped. All right? And the last one is upfront agreements. And this is huge. Upfront agreements. If what I say when I come over to the house, if we agree to the terms and the price and everything looks good to you, are you willing to sign the agreement when I come out tomorrow afternoon? When I come out today at noon? These upfront agreements. Is everybody going to be there to make the decision? These are the pitfalls. What we do is we go, okay, I'll see you at 4. See ya. Okay, I'll see you. I'll see you at 4 o'clock, and just text me if anything is coming up or whatever's going on. No, get the upfront agreement. You're going there for a purpose. Get the upfront agreement. Don't just passively let this go by and just hope that when you show up, they're ready to make a decision. You need to know if they're ready to make a decision. And if they're not, great. Then at least you know what you're up against. Then at least you know what you need to talk about. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I might want more for the house than I thought I did. Whoa, okay. What happened? You said that $125,000 was what you needed for the property. What are you increasing your price? Talk to me about that. Well, I don't know. I've been told. I looked online, and I've been told, and somebody else said that I shouldn't take anything less than $180,000 and all these other things. Great. Let's talk about that as soon as I get over there. And then bring comps showing why $125 is the right price for that deal. But if you didn't know that, what are you going to do? You're going to go there and go, well, I can only give you $125. You want $180. It seems like we're too far apart. Maybe I can go $128, $130, and it'll work, right? Then it just turns into this awkward, and all the air gets sucked out of the room, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't breathe in here. This is not going to happen. But if you know up front before going on that appointment, and of course you bring your purchase agreement with you, because that's the purpose of these appointments, If you know all of the roadblocks, you know how to prepare better for that appointment, and that's how you get better closings. Got it? Awesome. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, Mr. 40-year-old Johnny Bravo, hitting you with it. I'm excited. It's a great, great show. At the top of the hour, Ryan Thornton, my acquisition manager, he'll close. I mean, we're at like 1.55 for the year pending closed, and that's all run through Ryan and through Chad, our junior acquisition manager. So two guys doing that as a tag team. We could talk about that. We could talk about his closing techniques. We could talk about what he does on appointments. We could talk about how he understands the different personality types, different communication styles, and we have one of the best closers in the country sitting right here to my right, and that's Rafael Cortez, who has done over 1,000 deals. Rafael, what do you think? What do you've got 5 things, and I know that you do because you're like the smartest guy in every room that we go to, but
I always have 5 things.
That's it. So go through some of these things, and then guys, we're gonna open real quick. Let me just guys, this is a question and answer show. The first half hour is coaching, teaching, going through instructions, getting you all the juice that you need to put into your business, to show your team, whatever it is, your company that you're growing, your acquisition managers, everything. But this is a question and answer. This happens because we participate. So I want to know successes. I want to know who is closing deals, who locked up deals. I want to ring that bell, all right? I want to know what questions you have, and if you have any properties that you want to know, deal or no deal, and comping it. But Rafael, hit us with these things.
First off, I love being here, and you said something very, very important, which is servant's heart. Right in the middle of that, talk to your hand a little earlier, you said servant's heart, and I think that's the biggest thing, right? We have to be intentional about appointments when we go to a seller appointment, and what I mean by that is that, number one, you have to be intentional about finding a solution. The secondary, the outcome of that is going to be you walking away with a contract. But that's the overall intention of every seller appointment that we go on, right? Whenever I train my team, and it's the same thing that we always emphasize: find a solution. And really, like the phrase "servant's heart," I think embraces every single aspect of that. Now, if you want to get a little technical, there's a few things that we do religiously on appointments, and that we go through, whenever we're sitting down and trying to negotiate a deal. And I don't know if you want me to get technical on those, and then just kind of go through them. But it's not, like you said, it's not rocket science. It's not super complicated. We don't have to, be scared or think that this is something that's unattainable or unachievable to become a closer, right?
Right.
That's a skill that can be learned. First thing that we do is in an appointment, and this is going to be just kind of like 5 little bullet points, but the first one is discover the real issue behind what's going on with the sellers, right? It's easier said than done, right? But as you're going through the discovery conversation, you're also going to be building rapport because you're genuinely interested in what's going on. There's a couple of phrases that we use and that we throw into the script. For example, one of them is, what is your experience with? That's an open-ended question.
Love it.
What is your experience with, and then fill in the blank, right? What is your experience with, selling a house, or with wholesalers in the past? What is your experience with escrow companies and the process? Whatever that is, it's gonna give you a thread that you can pull on. And then another discovery question is, how important is it for you to, and then fill in the blank.
Yep.
How important is it for you to sell the house, 30 days? How important is it for you to relocate? How important is it for you to have no headaches as we're doing it, right? But all of that stuff, it's just like it tees up the conversation so you can start pulling on threads. Next thing is you have to get clear. You have to get clear, make sure that you're talking about the same thing, right? There can be a lot of miscommunication when you're talking to a seller. Simple question or simple phrase that we throw out there is, help me understand. It's we can recap with, okay, so what you're saying is this, right? But if you open it up and you give them an open-ended question, like, okay, so help me understand. You need to move in 30 days because of whatever. And then it puts you on the same page. Yep. Like, now you're on the same topic.
Love it.
Number 3, make sure that you have the right timing. You can't rush an offer. You can't say, hey, I'm calling you about we're meeting about the house. We spoke yesterday. Now you're in the face-to-face appointment. 3 minutes into it, drop a number. It's just not going to happen. It can't be transactional. We're in the relationship business.
That's right.
And the more effective that we get, the more efficient that we get on building relationships, the shorter those seller appointments become, right? But it's about the effectiveness. And one thing, that we do is we never rush to make the offer. Number 4 is always make an offer. It kills me, bro. It kills me.
That
hundreds
is
of students.
huge. I am telling you. Yep.
Okay, so what was the offer? Well, I didn't make an offer. Like, why did you not make an offer? Make an offer.
Yeah.
That's it increases the odds, right? Super simple concept. And I know a lot of people are scratching their heads right now on the live because they're thinking, hell, I remember that last time when I went to that seller appointment, I didn't even make an offer. Now, here's a tip. If you feel uncomfortable, first off, when you're making an offer, drop the offer and then be quiet, right? That's rule number 1.
Right.
Number 2, if you feel uncomfortable making an offer, make a soft pass. If you feel like, the point is to leave something so you have somewhere to pick up whenever you do the follow-up. Because there's always going to be a follow-up, right? But make a soft pass. One way that you can just kind of sneak a soft pass offer in there is, I don't know if this is going to work for you, but we would have to be around the $70,000 to $85,000 range. And then, it's a soft pass. Even if you feel like you're losing that seller, make an offer. Make an offer. Number 5 is really sales 101. I feel silly even saying it, but it's ask for the sale. Ask for the contract. Okay.
It's not silly. It's not silly, Rafael. And I'm glad that you mentioned it because it is. People don't do it.
Yeah. Ask for the signature.
People go and they're just like, is this the price that would work? And then just leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
Or this is what I can offer you. Is that gonna?
Right.
This is what I can offer you. And they're like, okay, well, thank you. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah.
Thank you for, letting us know. We're going to have to think about it. We're going to, we've got some other options. We're doing some other things. And you're like, you want to get to the point where you're asking them, do you want to do business with me? Right? You got the price, the terms, and you. Those are the 3. Listen, if you're negotiating anything, I don't care if it's with your kids. I don't care if it's at a car dealership. I don't care if it's with real estate. I don't care what it is. But it comes down to the price, the terms, and you. Do they want to work with you? Do they want to be around you? Do they trust you in this relationship? That is huge.
Yeah, and when you ask for a sale, there's ways of doing that, right? You don't have to tell them straight up, okay, I'm going to need your signature in this line right here. But you can ask questions, for example, like how fast do you want to close on this? Or how fast can we close on this? And then if they push back on that, okay, for example, if you come across a scenario like that, well, okay, we'll think about it. We'll do this. We'll do that. Just ask the question, what's it going to take to get this done? I know you want to sell the property. We want to buy the property. We're qualified. This is what's going to happen. We have everything cleared out. We've been in conversations for hours and appointments and everything. What's it going to take to get the deal done?
Awesome.
So
love it. Love it. There it is, guys. Listen, again, by the way, those quotes that I was reading from is from this book right here. Obviously, we talk about the Go-Giver a lot on this channel. I read it every week for a year and tripled my business. This one is absolutely fantastic, and I think this is going to speak to a lot of people out there that aren't looking for, that quick. Listen, real estate is different than other kind of sales positions, sales jobs, sales roles, sales whatever, because this is, like Rafael just mentioned, this is a relationship business. All right, this isn't just something that you go in, they agree to it, they give you a credit card, and it's done type of thing. No. This is, you are in a 30, 45-day relationship with these people where you become one of the most important people during that time because they're selling their biggest asset, or they're selling their biggest headache, or they're selling their biggest problem that they have, anxiety, stress that they have in their life. And they want to make sure that things are going smoothly. So you have to over communicate and you have to build that relationship. And it's not just this quick little, if I could do this, well, that did, and boom, there you go. There's your close. Like, It just doesn't work that way. I'm just telling you, it just doesn't work that way. You're going to see this at a top level this weekend at the Closers Olympics. So if you guys haven't, by the way, they extended the $97 for a 3-day event, and that is $97 till the end of today. Until like 5 o'clock or midnight or whatever. I don't know. But definitely check that out, guys. It's going to be a phenomenal. I am the final judge, one of 3 final judges on Sunday for the championship. So join us. It'll be a lot of fun. Anyway, let's start cracking this thing open. I want to see some celebrations. I want to get some questions about closing. I want to know real life what you're dealing with here. You know what I mean? What is stopping you? What are some of the hurdles that you're facing? Xavier, are any of you guys using BatchLeads? Yeah, listen, we use BatchLeads for our text blasting. Yeah, it's been phenomenal. It's a great platform. BatchLeads.io, coupon code TTP, obviously, to get the best deal on that. But yeah, we use it every single day. Every single day. We pull lists from PropStream, but we use BatchLeads as our platform for text blasting and have made an incredible amount this year from text deals, over 500,000. Kiali, Batch Dialer versus Zen Call. It's not even close. It's not even a discussion. I mean, Batch is like, first of all, 1,000 times more powerful, and 50,000 times easier to use, and 100,000 times better at getting contact rates. So not really. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I'm being wild with it. But Batch Dialer is designed for real estate investors, and yeah, everybody that's switched over, at least in my TTP family in the coaching program, has been loving it. Jose, I have my very first seller appointment later today. 5-unit property. That is awesome, Jose. Make sure that you understand what's going on with the leases of that property, right? Are they month to month? Are they long term? Are they under market value? Typically they are. If somebody's just wanting to sell it for cash and as is, make sure that you're getting a price out of that seller before you go out there, right? Any advice on multifamily?
Yeah, make sure that all 5 units are permitted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes they'll add, like a small little studio on the back and stuff like that. And I mean, you see that often, especially, I mean, we see it all over the place here in Phoenix. Yeah, garages converted.
Garages, carports, patios, they all get converted, but it's just a room. It doesn't have facilities. It doesn't have water. It doesn't have a kitchen. Doesn't have, any of those. So I assume that this 5-unit property is probably a traditional 5-unit, which is great, Jose. Remember, posture. Have that strong posture. You're going to lock up that deal. There you go. From IG, Jose, could you please explain step by step how the double close work? Example, when I fill the purchase contract. Yeah, Jose, I've done a whole video on this, like literally on this channel, breaking this whole thing down. But on a double close, it depends, because there's a difference between a double close and a double escrow. And I'll break this down real quick. But the video will do it a little bit better. But basically, a double close is, here's the house, right? Here's the seller. Here's you, powerful you, right? You're right here. You got those big muscles, Jose. And then here's your buyer, and he's got a bag full of cash there. There we go. That's fun. And so here's your cash buyer. Here's you, the wholesaler. And well, in this time, you're not even a wholesaler now. Now you're just a flipper. This turns you into a flipper, right? So what you do is you buy this property with your own cash. You have to have transactional funding or your own cash. You actually buy it the same day these guys buy it from you, all right? So you have a contract, you have a purchase agreement right here between you and the property owner, and then you don't do, what happened here? You don't do an assignment, you do another purchase agreement between you and your cash buyer. And hopefully it's closing on the same day. So basically, you are closing this with your own cash. They're closing here with a different purchase. It's 2 purchase contracts. It's not a purchase contract and assignment. It's 2 purchase contracts. And that's when they close. Now, a double escrow is when you take this guy's cash right here and it actually funds this transaction. And you don't need cash. You don't need money right here. Not a lot of title companies do it, but some do. Some real investor-friendly ones do. But basically, and they will disclose it to this seller. They will disclose that money from you selling the property is funding their sale. They will disclose that. So that's why a lot of people prefer double closes, because it's just you stay in this bubble. You stay right here with this guy and right here with this guy. And so the double close, and this is going to be more and more and more. You're going to see a lot more talk about it. You know, we've seen like a ton of videos coming from Jerry Norton. He does a fantastic job breaking down some of those things. But the double close, you're going to need money for these. You're going to need a lot of money from these. So this is I assume that's probably where some of these questions are coming from. We share a lot of the same audience with Jerry Norton. Awesome. What do you think? Aha! I think nothing of it. This is not a surprise. Let me explain something. All right, everybody thinks I don't know, and I'd love to dive deep, and maybe you have, Rafael. A lot of people think, Zillow's an idiot. Zillow's losing all this money. Zillow's not buying anymore. Listen. Let me help you understand how some of these things work. Okay, whoever really owns Zillow, they could have killed it in some other sector, some other business, some other whatever. They might need a write-off, all right? And so they take this write-off in the fourth quarter here, show these big losses, and then they sell all these properties, recoup it, and then they're fine. All right, this is just corporate shenanigans going around. All right, I don't think Zillow's folding under. I don't think that people at Zillow are idiots. I think that they're they have way more data and way more brains behind what they do. How does it affect us? It doesn't affect us. The only thing it does for us is we've been selling properties to Zillow at stupid prices. We've been just selling it to them at, and when I say we, I mean the whole collective, wholesalers, flippers, owners of properties, just regular people, everybody. Everybody's been selling to Zillow at retail or above retail prices. And so how does it affect us? It's just one less outlet to dispo deals to. Rafael, what's your thoughts?
I completely agree, man. I think they're not going to go under. They're doing a couple of pivots in terms of like even their data on the back end. And we've seen those for months.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be a big thing. Now, also the type of stuff that we're buying, it's a lot of stuff that doesn't fit the wheelhouse of a wholesaler.
Doesn't fit their box.
Keep doing your thing. Keep doing you. Don't let it stop you. Don't let it slow you down. Or
if you
like
look
that.
at the,
don't freak out either.
They're like what? It's like 9,000 houses that they have to sell.
Yeah,
9,000.
Something like that. Yeah.
And how many houses are in the United States? Like 150 million.
We have
like it's
that,
not even. They're not even a percent of a percent.
Yeah.
They're not even a percent of a percent. It's just the headlines. So it's cool. I mean, I think it just we're not able to sell to Zillow, who's going to just run some algorithm and give you a price for it. But they'll be back. They'll be back. I don't know if they'll be back buying, but they'll be back in some capacity of doing whatever.
It's a window. One thing I do want to put out there, it's a window, okay? It's a window of opportunity. That's what it is. A lot of people are going to freak out. They're going to say, oh, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore because I'm going to shift to something else and start buying NFTs or whatever, right? But if you're in this for the long term, it's a real window to just, go into it.
I love it.
That's it.
I love it. Good question. Dante, I'm curious, Brent, are you seeing it's taken more calls to close deals as iBuyers are starting to flood markets? I'm here in Sacramento. On the properties that were tight deals, yes, Dante. It's going to take, but the properties, just like Rafael mentioned, the properties that have the biggest spreads are the properties that are really, really rough. These are these need a lot of renovation. That's why I push you guys and encourage you guys to go after properties that are above 150, 200,000 in ARV. Because if you go below that and they're really destroyed properties, it's really tough to build in a nice profit for yourself. All right. So you want to go after the properties that have more room to invest into those properties, put the capital, put the money into those properties, make them beautiful, and then also have enough meat on the bone on the back end. So it's really tough when you get into those tight, lower price markets. So in Sacramento, you're fine. There's plenty of opportunities in Sacramento. If you look at the stats of the amount of buyers, the amount of properties these iBuyers actually buy, it is a drop in the bucket. It's nothing. And they do not want to do things that are significant rehabs. They want to go, they'll go with stuff that's a little dated, and they'll go and they'll spray paint the cabinets, right? And they'll put in vinyl flooring, and they'll put in, some new toilets and some new fixtures, and be out of it in 6 to 8 weeks. They'll be done with the rehab. They do not want to hold on to these properties that need a lot of love. So are they loud? Do they have huge marketing budgets? Are they everywhere? It seems like yes. But still, the properties, it just depends on if people want to deal with a corporation or if they want to deal with somebody personally. And I think to any time that you're going against an iBuyer offer, you just got to ask them, do you just want to be one of 1,000 that they're buying, or do you want to just be, you want this more personal and sell it to somebody that's going to communicate with you and take care of you? That's the conversation that you have when you're going against the iBuyer offers. All right?
Brent, it does take a little bit more calls to get to it, just because people have this wonderful idea they're going to get, over retail for the property. But one thing that we do is we learn the buy boxes of the iBuyers. And if we're in a highly competitive area, one job, Alejandra, one job.
She's got three sneezes already.
If you're in a highly competitive area and iBuyers are predominant, you can learn their buy box. And then market outside their buy box. And whenever you come across somebody who's throwing an objection, about an iBuyer, just bring the buy box in. That's my Spanglish kicking in. Bring the buy box in. Okay, listen, they're buying properties for that are older than 1990 or newer than 1990 or whatever that is, right? Different iBuyers have different stuff. So take a note of that and then use it.
Yeah, we just not only that, Dante, but we're dispoing properties to the hedge funds. And I've seen that with a lot of my students here in Phoenix, a lot of them in Texas, a lot of them in some of these other markets that the hedge funds are buying in. The strategy is wholesale, build up that heavy bank account, have enough to go and buy these properties instead of just assigning them, clean them up, and then sell them to these hedge funds. And this is no joke. I mean, this is literally a call I had yesterday with Jeremy Thornburg, my disposition manager. We bought a property for $192,000. We put $30,000 into it. We just got an offer yesterday from a hedge fund for $390,000 cash. $192,000, $30,000. $390,000. Now there's some costs in there. There's I think 3.5% in commission, 2% to the guy representing the hedge fund, 1.5% to our guy that connected us, and but it's like $150,000 deal. I mean, that's bananas. I mean, that is absolutely bananas. That's almost, that you have to make 200, what is it, 200? Let me hit you with these stats that I was shocked by. Do you know to be in the top 10%, you have to make $201,000 a year? Top 10%. To be in the top 5%, $273,000. In the world, in the entire planet, $273,000 a year for the top 5%. And in the top 1%, $504,000 a year. $504,000. I am telling you, like literally, if you go out there and serve this collection of people that are in distress, that 6 to 10% statistically that are in distress in the real estate market at all times, if you go out and serve those people, I mean, what's the average deal size? What's your average deal size, Rafael?
$27,000.
Right, $27,000. So you have to do less than a deal a month to be in the top 5% in the world.
Right. Yeah.
For income.
Yeah, exactly. That's an average. I mean, we have deals where we hit it out of the ballpark. You know what I mean?
I know.
We're closing on one that's $78,000. It should be tomorrow, I think.
Come on.
Yeah.
Rafael. You know I'm giving you this.
I got my own bell.
Yes.
So,
Hey,
Dante,
Brent.
great question. There's
Brent.
a lot of strategy there.
Our dispo manager just texted you and said that we just sold Glendale property for $18,400.
Nice. All right. It's not a huge one, but it's a good victory. So, well, all right. Here we go.
Ring the bell for you.
Ring the bell.
By the way, that was a tight deal. That was a real tight deal, but I'll take it. 18,400 while we're doing the live show. Fantastic. Thank you. Awesome. Love you, brother. Appreciate your heart of service question. So, as a newbie, what service or software should I buy when starting? 3 things that I suggest with everything. Deal Machine. Deal Machine is a Driving for Dollars app. You need to build 80% of people doing their first deals do it through Driving for Dollars. It's a very simple formula. Find an ugly house, talk to the property owner, get a deal. That's it. 3-step process. Boom. I just that's how you get going. That's how you start building the momentum. Use the TTP code, guys. It's the biggest discount they have. Because I'm so loud, we get these discounts. Get in there, dealmachine.com. That's number 1. Number 2 is PropStream. PropStream is a tool. Listen, I've got it open on my computer at all times. Seriously. I use PropStream probably 30 times a day. Literally 30 times a day. And that's just comping around the country for the TTP family in the one-on-one program. So PropStream is phenomenal. It's going to show you, what it does is it tells you the story before it fills in all the gaps before you even really get deep into talking to and pre-qualifying that property owner. I mean, you want to already have a conversation and they want to say, yes, I want to sell. But this tells you the story. It tells you what they owe, tells you when they bought it, tells you what they bought it for in some states. Some are non-disclosure states, so it makes it a little bit trickier. It shows you what the comparables are. It shows you what's active on the market. It's your access to the MLS. It's bananas. Like anybody that's serious in this business that is really pushing and their goal is to be a real estate entrepreneur uses PropStream. They just do. So ttpdata.com, you get access to PropStream through that. And then the last one is batch skip tracing. BatchSkipTracing.com. I'm telling you, that's the most accurate phone numbers that you're going to get for the properties that you're trying to get a hold of. So you drive around, you find an ugly house, you put it into BatchSkipTracing.com, you call them, you get a hold of the actual owner on this property, you talk to them, they're telling you they want to sell it, you go to PropStream, you take a look, you find out what the value is, what you can offer, what's going on, do they have equity, and now you're off and running. And all of that, I think, Deal Machines... What's Deal Machine? $50? PropStream's $99, and the Batch Skip is 14 cents an address. So you're under $200 a month, typically under 300 if you're really making a lot of calls, maybe 400. And the return on it's bananas. The return is silly. So there you go. And by the way, all of this, guys, TTP Insider, I know we're doing a lot of banners here. We're just trying to give you all the resources cut through. There's so many different personalities. There's so many different things to think about and strategies and all that. I will promise you this. After coaching more people than anybody, these are the tools that people use to be successful and keep their budget low. Keep it low. We're always gonna coach you and teach you how to do this with the least amount of budget so that you can keep the most amount of money. Remember, wholesaling is just the ATM. Wholesaling is just this is the vehicle that you're using to get into this business full time, to replace your income first. And then it's to build up your bank account so that you can buy assets. Once you buy assets, now your money goes to work for itself. It starts replicating. It starts making baby monies all over the place. It loves it. It is. It's baby monies all over the place. It's called a return. All right? It's called passive cash flow. That's how you build wealth. You buy assets. You don't spend it on things. you invest it into assets. Those assets then make more money. That's building wealth. Don't overcomplicate it. That's all it is. Get a bunch and boom, you got it. CRM, I would use Batch Dialer. That would be the fourth one. If you have the budget, get Batch Dialer. It's $140 a month, and it's going to take your productivity and efficiency through the roof. And most people use that as their CRM to do their follow-ups, and it's really, really, really effective. I don't want you to get a CRM right now just because it's such a distraction. We use it as an excuse to not make calls, to not do our jobs, to not go out there and serve the community. We sit there and we love fiddling around with it. I'm telling you, so many people get stuck in this whole getting it set up and doing all these things before taking action. Go out there and start building your pipeline of leads. And as you're doing that, you can see if you need a CRM. But typically you won't need a CRM until you have a team and there needs to be accountability. All right? And when you do want a CRM,
talk to
Rafael. I mean, Rafael built ours. I mean, it's a very expensive CRM, but it's like the absolute Gulf Stream of CRMs. I mean, it is so robust. It does half the work for us.
I want to make a point though.
Yeah.
You hit it right on the head with you don't need a big fat system in place to get rolling. If you have less than 100 leads to worry about and do manual follow-ups with, you don't need a big fat CRM.
Right.
If you have less than 100, you can run through, do a spreadsheet, do a couple of columns on there that just kind of keep you organized. And until you start generating revenue and bringing deals in, one deal consistently a month, two deals consistently a month,
yeah.
Then you plug something else in.
Right.
Then you take the time to figure out and fine tune that process. But don't get lost in the shiny objects.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, real estate. That's hilarious. Real estate. Oh, God, that's a great play on words. Closed 6K this week. Congratulations. There we go. Real estate. That is clever. I love it. Congratulations from IG. That is awesome. Real estate closed 6K this week. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now, add a zero to that, Reela. Add a zero to that. Let's get that to 60K this week. It's all here. We find what we're looking for, so we might as well be looking for massive, massive deals. All right? Kevin, hey, Brent, quick question. Can I get a contract? Can I get under a contract a house that already has an auction date? Absolutely, Kevin. Yeah, so if it's got an auction date for whatever reason, typically it's a mortgage foreclosure, but it could be a tax default. It could be some other lien that's foreclosing. But if it's got an auction date, just make sure that you close it before that date. Or if it's really tight, you want to go to whoever is doing the auction, whether it be a trustee or whether it be the court or whether it be whatever it is, whoever's handling it, attorney, whoever's handling these, you want to go and you want to get it postponed. And typically they're going to want to see a signed agreement. And this is a huge advantage for you if it's getting close. Like I don't get scared of the ones that are close to the auction date because one, they're going to make a decision, and two, you can say, listen, I can't help postpone this until we come to an agreement, until we are in a relationship, a contractual relationship. I can't get it postponed for you. So let me go to work for you, but I have to get this agreement signed first. Are you ready for me to go to work for you? Yeah, great. Okay, here you go. Boom, I signed it. You sign it. Boom, and you're off and running. So it's a huge advantage. It's a nice tool in your toolbox to use for sure. I got to figure out something that's different than tool. I feel like tool in the toolbox is like very cliche now. You know what I mean? A feather in your cap? No. Like something. There's got to be something better. Think about it. You always come with the good stuff.
Yeah. Give me a few.
Take it. We got to figure it out. Okay, Brent. I spoke with Hi, Brent. This is from Vasily. Hi, Brent. I spoke with a neighbor about a vacant house next door, and she said it's condemned. What does that mean? Basically, it's a safety issue, right? The state goes, okay, we don't want people walking through this house. We don't want people going through this house. Maybe there's some mold. Maybe there's sharp, objects inside it. Maybe it's at risk of falling down. Maybe it is, whatever. Sometimes the city is just like, this is a really rough house. We're just going to condemn it. So basically, you have to find out what needs to happen to that property for it to not be considered condemned by the city or county that you're in. So basically, it just means that it's a hazard. Right? We don't deal with that too much here, but a lot of the states, listen, we're very dry here, right? So we don't deal with a lot of the mold and a lot of the things that can come from that. But typically that's what happens, especially if you're in a state that has a lot of moisture, a lot of humidity. Those houses get chewed up, right? And it gets dangerous to go into those. So you need to remediate that. So it's a great. I would talk to that. I would talk to that property owner, and I would see what's going on there, and I would see if the city's like, listen, you got to knock it down because it's too far, or if they're like, listen, if you get it remediated and get it up to standards, living standards, and it's not a risk to the public and to people living in it, then you can do that deal. I mean, you can get that. I mean, most of the time it's going to be like land value. But if you could save that house, it's a huge advantage. But I always thought condemned was like, oh, there's ghosts. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
Like it's condemned. It's not a ghost thing, Vasily. It's just a property safety thing.
Yeah, and if you're able to do that, I mean, you're gonna get a new banana in your fruit basket. How's that? How's that? No? Is that terrible?
That sounds very,
Is that bad?
Yeah, that's very, that could be taken
Right.
so
I'll
many
keep working
ways.
on it. I'll keep working on it.
It's another banana in your fruit. You know what? You're fired. You're fired from that job of coming up with new cliche things to say. All right. Rockefeller, Texas. Closed one deal in Texas. There you go, Rockefeller, Texas. Here we go. We celebrate you. That is awesome. What, no guitar today?
No.
We got to
no
have a
guitar.
studio guitar.
Yeah,
Or
it's gotta
a
be
ukulele, maybe.
at the very least, a uke. Yeah.
Let's look into this,
Come on,
Alejandro.
Alejandro. Step it up.
All right. Got a house under contract because of you. Listen, Udo. Okay, I'm gonna just go Udo. It's because of you. Bro. It's because of you. Trust me. You put in all the work. You went out there. You solved the problem. Congratulations. Now, listen, we're halfway there, right? We're 2/3 there. Now it's exit strategy. Now it's selling that deal or keeping it, whatever you want to do. But congratulations. There you go. I love it. I love it. Congratulations. Alan. Hey, Brent, just what? Alan, hey, look at this. 18 years old, just closed 15. Come on, player. Come on, man. $15,000 at 18 years old. Holy cow. Listen, don't lose your mind, Alan. Do not lose your mind. That's a lot of money hitting that account. Most adults have never seen $15,000. Statistically, most adults have not seen $15,000 in their checking account. Okay? So don't lose your mind. Don't go bananas. Keep it in there. Invest. Don't spend. Congratulations. We celebrate you. Here we go. That is awesome.
Hey, yeah, that I mean, at 18 years old, I was nowhere near $18,000, right? But it's important. I think I want to take that opportunity to just bring up the awareness of financial education. Like, read financial education stuff. I just sat down with David Richter on Profit First for Real Estate. I mean, it's mind blowing, really. It's such a simple concept, and he puts it in such an understandable way that people have to jump and start reading the Profit First book first off, and then pick up a copy of the Profit First for Real Estate because I mean, it makes perfect sense, especially in this kind of scenario, man.
Oh, yeah.
Turn profits into a habit. That's really what's got to happen. It's what's got to be done.
Boom.
There it is.
There it is. Really, really, really phenomenal. Boom. And guys, I'm telling you, what I love doing is I love going through these books, highlighting them, and I can go back and I can pick and I can choose and I can figure. Whenever I'm going through something or thinking about something, I can go back to my library and go to these books and pull them out. It is such an advantage as you're reading, go through and highlight the things that light up your brain. You know what I mean? And it's different for everybody. So go and get those things that light up your brain. Are you kidding me? Who's in the house? Who is in the house, guys? This is going to be incredible. It is Ryan Thornton. Oh, yeah. Good. Let's pull that microphone over for you. So Ryan is my head acquisition manager. He is locking up deals. Jeremy just sold that Glendale deal for, what did you say?
18,900.
18,400. What happened there? You couldn't get that a bigger deal?
I mean, what do you want me to do? She started out at like 350,
Yeah.
250.
Yeah.
And, it just started out with, well, why 250?
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about this deal. Let's break down that conversation. So where did that lead come from?
I believe it was a web lead.
Web. Okay. Yeah. So we got a web lead in, and we jump on it instantly, right?
You have to.
Right.
Yeah.
That's critical. So was it a web lead where they called in, or was it just we just got the form and somebody called them? Did Chad call them?
No, I think form came in.
Yep.
Chad followed up.
Yep.
Set up an appointment, or I think that's how it worked out. Set up an appointment. And I
Yeah.
went out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you go out. He's pre-qualified her.
Yes.
What was her problem?
So she has an adult son.
Okay.
Living on property.
Yep.
And
Not paying.
Not paying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she has a place like up north, and she just wanted to get rid of the property and get rid of him. And she's like, I'm sorry to say, but it was just been a burden on her.
Yeah.
And wanted to move out and have some money to make an addition and all kinds of stuff. She was just done with Arizona right now.
And was he fixing up the house? Was it just he was just living there?
No, he was just living there. When I walked up, he's sitting in the garage, and I was like, "Hey, I'm so and so here to see so and so," and he goes,
"Oh no,
she's inside." So
how do you navigate that when you have? Because this happens all the time when you have the children of the property owners, just living in the property for free. I mean, that's a great deal for them. How do you?
Well, that's part of the qualifying
How do you
questions.
navigate that? Yeah.
So you're not really navigating the person who's living there, the kid. You're navigating the homeowner,
Right.
the mom, and going, hey, again, it starts out with, what are your goals? I noticed this. You told me about this. Is that going to be an issue for you? Or, how do you want to go about this without the least amount of turmoil in your life?
Right.
And then she tells you.
Yeah.
And in this moment, she's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I already told him I'm selling the house. I told him he needs to get out.
Awesome.
And he said he's going to, and you kind of have to just base it off that and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy tell you what he sold that Renaissance deal for?
No.
$390 cash. No. Hedge fund.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
Yep. Bananas.
Oh.
Anyway, we're opening this up. Guys,
Yeah.
any questions that you have about
Please.
the appointment, about pre-qualifying. So what happens is lead generation is handled by all of us. We've got cold callers, we've got texters, we've got web going out, and web is kind of internet and Facebook. So that's our main, and then we got referrals, obviously. And then once we get those leads, it goes to Ryan, and Ryan's job, pre-qualify, lead follow-up, and locking up those deals, right? Converting it. So this is your opportunity. This is real. Every single day. This is what Ryan does every single day and does an incredible job. So
Yeah, seriously, like anything, even if you think it's silly, like ask the question, because you may be asking something that maybe another wholesaler hasn't even thought of.
Yep.
And every time I answer a question or look at a question, I'll go, oh, I haven't even,
I didn't even think that.
What do we do with that
Yeah.
situation? So whatever you guys
There
got.
we go. Bernard asks, how do you close sellers that want top dollar?
Oh, everybody wants top dollar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, everybody thinks the value of their house is way more than it usually is, and they're trying to push for every penny, and that's okay. That's fine. I always tell people that I never want to tell you what to sell your house for. I can only tell you what we do and what makes sense to us, and if they both align, awesome. So, what's top dollar to you? And then you set that mark.
Yeah.
And then there goes a negotiation. Well, top dollar is this, this, and this. Okay, well, what helped you get to that figure? And then you kind of break it down from there.
Right.
Okay, well, you ask about the mortgage, and okay, well, what are your goals? What's happening? When you sell this house, what are you going to do? It's just kind of breaking it down little by little. And so, if they're not budging, they want top dollar, the place needs fixing up, then you kind of have to look at it and go, are they really motivated to sell this place?
That's it.
And so that's pretty
And
much
there's a couple of things. I love what you said there. Like, we don't tell people what they should sell their houses for.
Right.
We just tell them what we can buy them for.
Yeah.
And if they're in alignment, it works.
Yeah, you can't change
See,
people's minds.
Yes, this is huge. No, and this is the point here, Bernard. Here is the thing. There's no convincing, there's no closing them if their mind's set up on a different price. The thing is, how did they get to that price, and is it truly their price, and do they have problems that are bigger than what they want for the property? That's the investigation part of this. This is what Rafael calls the discovery.
Yeah.
The discovery process. And what Ryan goes into is, what is your goal? Okay, and is your goal realistic based on the condition of the property, based on the stress that this property is giving you? Those are the conversations you're having. You don't want to go, they want 250 and we're like, no, your house is worth 120 and that's the most you can get for it. So you're in la la land. You know what I mean? Like that wouldn't work.
That's
that
the
would not
first
work.
like axe to the tree to ruin any kind of rapport you could build with this person.
The friction.
Yeah, the friction.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that. I love that you said, we don't tell them what they should sell their house for.
Right.
That's it. That's the absolute truth. And the fundamental thing there, the seed of all that grows this whole philosophy is the buyer determines the value. It's not the seller. If the seller can't find somebody at the price that they want, they don't sell their property.
Right.
So is there an alignment between you, the buyer, and them, the seller? That's when you get the deals. All right. And I'm telling you, we have so many deals. It's like 1 out of, I think, 40 of those people are telling us, prices that we can never do or aren't really ready yet. And we're following up with, and the one is the one that we get closed.
Right.
And that's why we have Chad. Chad filters out all of these leads. And once they're to the point where, they're ready to sell, they go to you and you get them closed.
Right. And a lot of times people who are asking for top dollar and they have this, maybe they don't know why they have that number. A lot of times it just comes down to educating them. And everybody wants to come in and go, oh, well, they want to make sure that you think that they're the authority, but they really don't know.
Right.
And so just kind of breaking that down and doing it in a way where you're just like, hey, this is just for me to kind of talk through my thoughts. This is what we go through. And you're educating them in a way without telling them, well, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
And there's some tact involved with
I
that.
love it.
A simple, super simple way of getting to it or getting them to break down their high asking price is we don't do, okay, 245. We'll do, for example, why 245? It's a simple statement. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science, right?
Yeah.
But it's a followed by a why 245. And then they just dive
And it's your
into it.
tone, right?
Yeah.
It's not like,
It's how
well,
you-
why 245?
Yeah.
You're asking a question
kidding
because
me?
you're
Right.
very curious. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, maybe I missed
Inquisitive.
something. Why 245? Yeah, absolutely.
You don't tell them the price they should sell their house at.
Never.
You just tell them the price that we can make it happen. The price that we figure is going to work for us. And if it fits, it fits.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And you work with the people that it's likely to fit.
Yep,
And that's who you spend your time with.
exactly.
Because a lot of times you want to hold on to these leads because it feels good to have leads. But if you hold on to those leads that want too much and never do business with you, you're never going to find the ones that actually will.
You're just wasting time.
Wasting time. Not only that, but how does it affect your psyche when you talk to people over and over and over and they want more and more? Yes.
No.
It affects you. It really does. You start thinking, you start getting a reflex no in your own mind. It's like built in there and you're like, oh man, they're probably never going to accept this offer. I don't even know why I'm trying. I don't even know what's going on.
You already go in behind the 8 ball, like
Yeah.
you're already going to lose, and it kind of takes away from your confidence and the certainty that you have going into the
That's it.
conversation.
Love
Yeah.
it. Yep.
Bernard Mack.
How do you close sellers with multiple offers? Sorry, same guy. It's like one word. These are great. These are great questions.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
absolutely. So multiple offers. I'll go in genuinely and go, well, I'm glad you have multiple offers because I want to make sure that when you and I are finished, that you are completely comfortable that I'm the right guy for you.
Right.
And then so you start breaking down, okay, well, what offers do you have? Why didn't you take this offer? What is it that, you're really looking for? And it always goes back to what are your goals?
Yep.
And can I help you with those? And then you start breaking down what services you can provide. And obviously when it comes down to the number, you look at the number and they have this offer and you go, okay, well, why didn't you take that offer? And you see if you can even compete with that.
Yep.
And if you can, then it's really just a matter of building the relationship and the trust. Go, okay, well, you should work with me because of X, Y, and Z. You know, and so that's a
let me ask
relationship
you,
thing.
percentage-wise, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just ballpark me here, but percentage-wise, how many of the offers that we get done, that get accepted for our company and get closed, had other offers?
I would say 100%.
All of them have other offers.
Every time we talk
You're
to
beating
somebody,
out somebody every time?
I think so, because every time I talk to somebody, I go, well, you know, do you have other people you're talking to about this? And they say yes.
So why do you win?
Look
You know-
at those eyes, bro.
Oh, well, I know.
It's
I know
obvious
why
those
you win.
eyes. It's obviously the eyes.
He's going, hey, if I'm the right guy, I'm like, this is what he did in college,
Yeah,
bro.
okay.
This is how he had so many dates. Like, what are we doing here?
No, honestly, it's this.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to an officer, someone who's in law enforcement
Yeah.
right now. He's trying
Yep.
to break into this business.
A new
and-
TTP.
A new TTP
Yeah.
family member.
Yep.
And he asked me for advice. And I said, you know, when you talk to people, it's really, you're looking for that no, and you automatically become a problem solver. And so on the street, somebody says no, you are a problem solver. You have to decide what is going to be best for you and what's going to be best for this person to reach that aligned goal. And it's not any different than when you're in real estate and you're talking to somebody about selling their house. Somebody says no, you need to find out how you can solve their problem. And when you come into it with a genuine service kind of mentality, like, hey, you know, I don't know if I'm the right guy for you, but I want to make sure I guide you in the direction that's best for you. If that means listing it, if that means talking to you about maybe doing your own rehabs, but you put all of these things in front of them, and then you go, okay, what's going to work best for you? Oh, well, I want to do a cash offer. Well, okay, I'm the guy for that as well. So, and then it's just making those options available to them instead of saying, hey, cash, I'm your guy, sell it to me, sell it to me, sell it to me. And
I
then
can get you whatever you want.
Yeah,
I'll outbeat every offer. I won't have an inspection period.
Right.
I'll put more into earnest money in. You're saying things to people that they have no idea what you're talking about. It's real estate language.
Right.
You know, I see it all the time. People get aggressive. Like, I'll pull out all the stops. There won't be any stuff. You're like forcing your personality into the relationship when their personality should be the one dominating what's happening here, and you are giving them the options. That's where they build the trust. That's where they feel it. It's not saying that you don't control the conversation and that you don't stick to your guns and you don't lock up bad deals. But what I'm saying is, what is going on with this person? Truly, will you give them permission to let their personality blossom in front of you so that you can actually make a human connection? That's why you win.
That's absolutely
That's
every
why
time.
you win.
You know, you don't force things. You just genuinely open up the conversation and you allow them to tell you what's going to work best for them, and then you're just guiding them.
One of the biggest mistakes that I see happen is people want to use the features and benefits to do the whole thing and have the conversation for them, right? We use the features and the benefits, like, yeah, we close in 30 days, we do this, we'll give you post. Those are features and benefits of going with us as wholesalers, right? But that's not going to get the whole deal done. We use those as tools in the tool, or bananas in the fruit basket. I'm sorry, Brent.
I said,
I'm sorry, but
there's
I'm
got
rolling
to
with
be
it.
a better.
I'm kind of
There's
like
got to be a better analogy than tools in the toolbox, because it's so used. And he's saying
bananas in the fruit basket.
He's saying a
It's
banana
bananas
in the fruit basket.
There's so many different ways you
I
can
know.
look
Well,
at
I'm
it.
liking that one right now.
Like a different, so many different crayons that you can use in
This
the
is why
box.
we only let him out so often. This is why we
I only
yeah.
come out on Wednesdays, man, between 10 and 12. But no, it's not letting the features and the benefits do the whole conversation for you.
Yeah.
You have to empathize. You have to connect with them at
Right.
that level.
Absolutely.
which
That is the absolute most determining factor of closing deals and building rapport and trust when you have other people on the table, trying to buy a house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jose, what is crucial to ask or find out on an appointment? I think your first question is the most powerful, which is, what's your goal?
Yeah, absolutely. What are
Beyond
your goals
that,
with the house?
How do you say that without people being like,
Well, it really kind of depends.
is it just your tone? Is it the timing? Because you can't just walk in and be like, Hey, what's
Hey,
your goal?
What are your goals?
Right, and because people, no, and I was thinking about this last night because I think it's so powerful and it's a great question to ask, but it's also like one of those personal things that they have to be comfortable with enough for them to answer, but also, people kind of have their guard up. They're kind of like, well, I don't want to show you my cards, which is essentially what you're asking them, is like turn your hand over, tell me what your goal is. So how do you do that? When do you do that? How do you find the right moment to ask them and really get that? Is it just you've had conversations on the phone and they understand you? Is it your tone? Is it your timing? When do you fit that in?
So I pretty much always do it, or mostly do it when I'm face to face.
Face to face.
I'm walking to the house and I automatically allow them to start where they want to start. Most people want to show me the house.
Yeah.
Right? Some people do actually sit down, oh, hey, pull up a chair, and then it's easy. But if people want to show me the house, I'll go up and I go, hey, that's awesome. I definitely want to see the house. Do you have a second? Can we just kind of chat about how I might be able to help you?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Sit down. Okay, well, tell me, what are your goals? What are your goals with the house? Obviously, you want to get top dollar. Tell me what else.
Okay. So you follow it up with, obviously you want to get top dollar, but what else?
Yeah, because that's the
Because you get it off the top.
It's done.
Now they actually have to think.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is so powerful.
So it's not even really a
Right.
timing thing. It's just more of it's
No, I
just
love
one of
that you
those
put it that
open-ended
way.
questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you said, of course you want top dollar, but what else?
What else?
Because you get that off, that you already answered it. You're in alignment. When you say that to them, you're already in alignment with them. It's a wonderful communication technique. And then they're like, okay, what else do I want? Well,
Yeah.
I guess I just don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to blah, 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 blah,
And goes on and on and
Yeah.
on.
I love it. I love it.
What is crucial to ask, find out in an appointment? There's so many little things that add up to the bigger aspect of things. So I would say that all the questions are crucial.
Yeah.
Those 4 pillars are obviously
Yep.
things that you're doing to pre-qualify a seller, but just those little things to kind of let them know that you're there for them. And ask them, what can I do for you?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do after? You're going to sell the house. What are you doing after? So just those kind of rapport builder things, and then you fit in, how you are you going to help with whatever their goals are.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Stephanie, there she is.
Hey, Stephanie.
That's for you.
Ryan, can you give an example conversation of how to educate a seller on the value of their property? Yes. And so, when you're getting a number, you ask them, hey, well, what are you looking to get out of your property? What kind of offer are you looking for? And they give you, $250,000. Okay, all right, great. What helped you get to that number? And maybe it's not 250. Maybe the actual market value is, 220. But nowadays people are asking for so much more because it's a hot market, right? Well, what helped you get to that number? Oh, well, Zillow saying that it's 235 and I know the market's hot right now, and so 250. And I go, okay, great. Have you looked at any houses that have sold kind of in the area, to compare to what your house is looking at? Oh, well, a little bit. And I go, okay, that's fine. That's not really your job. This is what we do. This is how we look at the value of houses. We'll look at houses and, you go down the list and we look at comps and this and that. We look at what's inside the house and we compare it to, what your house looks like. And then there's a dollars and cents thing. We look at, okay, well, it's going to take X amount of dollars to get it updated, to get it to market value. Is that something you've heard before? Do you understand that? I know this isn't, you're not in the business, so just ask me questions. And so it's really just about, them having that number and going, all right, well, this is what makes sense to us. And I think we said it before, like I'll never tell someone what to sell their house for. I can only tell them what makes sense to us.
Right.
So the education portion, I think it's important to not make them feel like they're supposed to know. And a lot of homeowners, I think they come in and go, oh, well, I should know, it's my house. This is what I need to do.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, and so
it's their responsibility.
It's their responsibility,
Yeah.
exactly. So I kind of try to make it seem like, well, I'm sure you already know this, but I'm just going to speak out loud so I know we're both on the same page.
Love it.
Yeah, quick question. It's probably something that people are thinking out there, but how do you, what do you do when people are sticking to their price after you gave them a little rundown of the comps and everything?
There's not much, like we talked about before. Like
How do you
you're
handle
not
that?
going to change their mind.
Right.
You say, hey, after all of this, I understand. You're looking for top value. You look at their timeline. Okay, you want to sell in 3 months. It's like, okay, all right, that's great. And then you have a little bit of time. Oh, you want to sell in 14 days. Okay, all right. And if their price is just too high, there's a lot of times there's just nothing you can do about it. You look at your numbers. If
That's
it
it.
works, awesome. But if not, you tell them your services and what value you bring. And if you can't bring them down on the number, you can't bring them down on the number. And that's just what it is. And you move on to the next person who might align best.
One of the comments or phrases that we use too, and this is almost towards the end of a conversation, whenever you feel like you're losing that seller, and you're kind of on the fence. It's I wish I could tell you what you want to hear, but the reality is blank. So I wish I could tell you what you want to hear, but the reality is that the comps are putting the property at around 250 now 280.
Right.
From that we have to take this and that. But it's one of the phrases. It's a transition phrase that we use to kind of take it to that next point of the conversation.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
I mean,
love
I
that.
just,
love it.
I think it's the same. I think it's just kind of part of life, really. Like forcing people to like you, forcing people to do business with you, or trying to do it in a yes, you can get some people that are weak-willed to commit to something, but in real estate they cancel on you.
Yeah.
They will cancel on you. You could use all the closing techniques. You can go in and do this and that, and you can lock it up and be close to their price, but not there, and then beat them up on price. You won't last long. Or you can go in and be, well, this is where we need to be, and this is going to solve all your problems, and does this work for you? I'm sure it does, and try to convince them, and then they cancel on you 2 days later.
A deal, we sent a contract to someone yesterday, and I'm talking to her, and she doesn't know the business. She doesn't really know the value. She just said, I need this, and I hope you can make it work. But I can hear it in her voice. She wasn't really comfortable with the whole situation. I go, hey, is there anybody in your life that you could, can be a sounding board for you, that kind of you can ask and you can make you feel a little more comfortable in this? She's like, oh, well, and her husband called me, and I don't know the situation, but he called me and said, hey, she asked for this amount, and you gave her that amount. And so it makes me wonder, like, is she getting as much as she can out of this property?
Sure.
And I need
great.
to understand, she's asking for, X amount of dollars, and you give it to her. So it worries me. And she doesn't know. And so can you explain that to me?
Yeah.
And I did. I went over, I go, hey, this is how we comp houses. And in this market right now, the number she was asking for, that's the number I push for. I want to make her happy. That's the goal. We honestly want it for this number.
Yeah.
But with the way the market is going right now and the competition and all these things, my goal was to make it work for us, but also make it work for her.
Love it.
And so that's why we ended up giving her the number that she was asking for. We wanted it for this amount, but was it worth talking to her about wanting this and then maybe losing in the opportunity? Was it worth it to us? It wasn't. And so I worked up to her number so she could be happy and comfortable going forward.
That's why healthy tension in a negotiation is
Absolutely.
important, because they go, hey, give me 100,000 as yours, and you're like, yeah, cool. And then they're like, wait a second.
Yeah, that
Did
was
I
too
leave
easy.
money on the
Yeah.
table? This happened all the time.
All
It's
the
like,
time.
Yeah, all the time. You gotta, is that the best you can do?
Yeah.
100,000, is that the best you can do? We want to hear, but sometimes you have to say, listen, I gave her the price that she wanted, but that's not the price that I like it at.
Right.
It's not the one that that everybody in the company wants it at. We wanted it at 220. She wanted 240. It's going to make it a tighter deal. It still makes sense to us. It's not, hitting, the numbers that we want, but. We're trying to make this a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, you weigh
right?
the pros and cons
Yeah.
of, we net a little bit more compared to losing out on an opportunity to buy your house, So you have to weigh that.
Guys, I never do this. I feel like I should do this more. They do this a lot on the Closers Olympics. Can we get some, some sort of flames or something? Post something if you're getting anything out of Ryan. Like, this is real life. He's going on appointments all the time. Give him some love. If you want to see more of him, give us some flames. Give us some flames. I want to do like a Ryan Thornton hour where you just answer these questions every month. Maybe I'm serious. We talked about this, on this channel. I'm serious about that, because I'm telling you guys, like, this is just a fraction of the things that he can bring. I mean, it's just going through and doing this business every single day. We run into so many other things that haven't been asked that'll come out if we have Ryan Brian
And this
have
helps
Brian
me.
on the show.
Yeah, this helps me. Like I said before, like I look at a question and it makes me go over the process over and over again. And like any skill, it's perishable. So you have to keep talking to people. You have to keep going through those situations.
Oh, I'm just giving us let's keep going.
Yeah, sorry.
Reps by T. Reps by T. Okay. When meeting with a seller for an appointment, what should we be looking for when walking through the house?
Well, I mean, some of the big ticket items, right? So the cosmetic stuff, so the flooring, you're looking at kitchen updates, you're looking at all the things like bathrooms, so what needs to get updated or what is fine. So those are basically the things that you're looking for, and you're obviously looking to see what other houses in the area have done. You don't want to overextend. If a house is, using, a certain type of flooring and it's, whatever it is, you want to make sure, okay, if I put this into this house, how is that going to affect our offer?
Yep.
And so it's just some of those big ticket items. You look at some of the bigger things like the roof, the AC, things like that as well to adjust. Give you an idea of what offer is going to work.
Yeah, Reps by T. If you go to TTP Insider, we've got a whole checklist. It's called the Perfect Offer Pack. Perfect Offer Pack in TTP Insider. That's going to give you a really good checklist so that you're making sure that you're getting all the pictures that you need and all the information that either your investor partners or your cash buyers or yourself are going to want to know, because we go through it and you think you remember, but pictures help.
It's a lot, yeah.
Your pictures are better than your memory, trust me. So take the pictures, get that checklist at ttpinsider.com. But the number one thing you're looking for is, are they ready to sign this purchase agreement and move forward, solve their problem?
Yeah.
That's the number one thing that you're looking for. But I get your question, like what physically. So get that checklist, ttpinsider.com. JVC. Brent, what do you think about the Sandler selling method? It's all about emotional selling and pain focus. I see a lot of investors negotiating. Yeah, JVC, this is Steve Trang. This is Pace Morby. These guys have all been trained. There is Sandler selling groups in pretty much every major city around the country. You can start with the book that's called You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar. You can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar, which I think is a funny title for a sales book. You'd think it'd be something like powerful selling.
It would make me want to read it, though, because I'm curious. Like,
yeah, maybe that's what it is.
You can't?
Yeah.
Maybe I can. Well,
Yeah,
let me figure out if what's going on in there.
Yeah, they got us. Maybe they're genius. It's phenomenal. It just depends on if it's your style. It's a whole different style. It's pulling back. It's closing. There's a whole process to it. But it's been the top selling training or sales training for a long time. So really, really effective. Pace Morby and Steve Trang both went through it. So that should tell you something. Jonathan, how do you approach a seller sending over the contract to an attorney? Happening now. I'm worried it will kill the deal. Thanks.
I embrace that.
Oh, yeah.
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 I say, oh, hey, yeah, that's great. Whatever's going to make you the most comfortable. Ask me questions.
Yeah.
But, as soon as you go, oh, well, why would you need to do that? The seller's going to, well, why don't you want me to do that? So I just embrace that and I go, yeah, hey, whatever's going to make you feel comfortable, let me know what you think. But I'll always say, well, we have a time limit on our agreement. So it's 48 hours, it's voided. And so the reason for that is after it's voided, we reassess the situation and the deal for us, and that kind of puts a little bit of urgency. A lot of times people who say, I'm going to show this to my attorney is just kind of a bluff.
Yeah.
So
it gives them more time.
It gives them more time, exactly.
Sometimes they do that to leverage your offer. Sometimes they just want to get a little bit of breathing room from you. Sometimes it's to test you.
To see what you'll say.
To see if you're trying to they're like, I'm going to bring this to my attorney means I'm not really sure that you have my best interest in mind, so I'm going to take a pause and see what your reaction is. And if your reaction's like, oh, why would you do that? You don't need to do that. Or we could just get this thing done. It could just be you and I.
Yeah,
no
right.
problem. Is there any questions that you have about it? What can I do here? All of that makes people feel the little hairs on their neck, their little spider
nervous.
senses start going, and they're like, This feels like high pressure.
A little shady, yeah. But that's why I'll put the time, I'll tell them about the 48 hours. And it's in a way of hey, I don't want to pressure you. I'm just letting you know because it's in the agreement, and this is why it's in the agreement. If you still, after that time frame, you're still not quite comfortable, we will reassess. I can't say whether or not we'll continue with the deal, but that's our goal. So just let me know whenever you can.
Jonathan, I've never lost a deal from
attorney,
an attorney. I have only gained cash buyers when they bring these deals, for real. We've got a couple, not a lot, but like 2 or 3 of these attorneys, 2 that I know of, maybe 3, have turned into cash buyers because they're like, hey, I like this contract. I like what you're doing. I see that you're renovating houses. Can you tell me more about that? And then boom, you got a cash buyer. So
That's true.
Raf, you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna say most people don't. They'll say they're gonna send it to their attorney, but most people don't.
But they don't.
It's about that comfort in that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, but absolutely just embrace it and let them know, hey, I want you to do whatever's going to make you feel comfortable.
Yep. Awesome. Dylan, Brent, what time period during the day would you recommend not to cold call people? Dylan,
Yeah.
I mean, so there are some every state's different when you can call, but I always like the rule of call when the sun's up. Some areas it's we're getting into the winter to fall winter. It's like the opening there isn't as big as it is here in Phoenix, so we have an advantage there. But I would say 7 to 7 is within the boundaries. It just depends. Some people don't have the opportunity to call then, so they call 7 to 8. But I wouldn't call past 8, and I wouldn't call before 7. I wouldn't call before 8, but some people do.
Depending on the urgency of the lead that I'm following up on, a lot of times if it's kind of questionable, I'll shoot him a text, be like, "Hey,
oh yeah,
yeah,
but
hey,
that's
this
lead
is so
follow up.
Yeah.
This isn't cold calling."
Oh, right.
Yeah. Nice, good question. Alberto, I am brand new to sales, and I get really nervous on the phone. What can I do to master acquisitions?
Keep calling people.
Put in the reps.
Yeah, it's a scary thing to talk to people when you're new to a field, and so the only way you're going to increase your skill level is to continue to do it.
Yeah.
Like nothing like sports. You get better at a sport. You keep doing them.
Yeah.
You keep getting those reps. And so that is the
I went
think, the
to
best
Yellowstone last year for
Yeah.
a 5-year, and they're like, Aaron's like, my wife is like, let's do this horseback riding thing. I was like, great. And you go, and these horses are huge. They're peeing everywhere. You don't know if they have a mind of their own, what they're doing. You get on, you're just kind of like holding on. You're just like, I hope this thing doesn't just take off. I hope this just doesn't
Buck
go
me
crazy.
off, yeah.
And then you see the people that are like the guides, and they're going backwards. They're going sideways. They're controlling everything. They're lifting it up. They're doing whatever. It's reps.
Because they're
It's
on a
reps.
horse
It's new.
all the time.
You said it in the 4th word of that sentence. New. You're new to sales. Listen, Alberto, you might be new to sales in the real estate space, but you've been selling your whole life, bro.
Yeah.
Everything is sales. Literally everything is sales. Everything is just, if you look at what the definition of it is, it's just getting somebody to buy into what you're telling them. It's just getting that trust in what you're saying, in exchanging something for something else. That's all it is. So whether it be exchanging, whether it be, selling yourself to a partner, whether it's selling yourself in whatever, in life. I mean, we're doing it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think nervous to sales.
Yeah.
Like what Brent's saying, Alberto. You're not nervous in sales. You're nervous really about the content.
Yeah.
Because it's
That's
still
it.
new to you.
That's it.
But as soon as you get that content down, the talking aspect of it is just gonna flow through. So get the content down, and sales is just an automatic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The action, right, of sitting there and going through the reps is just as important as being intentional about what you're doing with those reps.
Right.
If you sit there and go through a list of 1,000 records, and then you're just reading from a script and then mindlessly just spitting words out and not processing what happened after a call, each one of those times is a lost opportunity. So be intentional. I like the phrase intentional learning. Be intentional about sitting there and improving upon yourself. Ask yourself, man, that conversation went south. What happened?
Yep.
And then really break it down. So be intentional about the learning process as much as you're intentional about putting those reps
And also, like, gamify it. You
Yep.
can have a lot of fun,
Love that,
Alberto.
yeah.
You can go and say, if I say this word in this way, does that work better
Yeah.
than if I say this and this? For example, in the script, it talks about when we ask, would you consider an offer on your property there? Well, we used to always say, would you consider an offer on your property? And it was just awkward. And then we said there, and for some reason it opened it up. When we go, would you consider an offer on your property? And people would be like, no. But then we say, on your property there, questioning, swooping up,
Oh,
different
interesting.
tone. Then they're like, okay, well, this, maybe. Talk to me some more. It opens up the conversation. Everything is gamifying it, and it's all you. You're going to sound different. I'm going to sound different than Ryan, than Rafael, than anybody. We're all going to sound different, but it's just the way that you use, the way that you communicate to help people out, to make them feel comfortable with explaining to you what their problem is, so that you can help solve them. So reps,
the
brother.
nerves will go away
Listen,
once those reps
you
get in.
will
Yep.
feel bulletproof. Here's the answer, Alberto. You talk to 1,000 strangers when you have an open mindset to it. You're not just fixed, like Rafael was saying. You're just not robotic. You talk to 1,000 strangers and with the intention of being really good and asking them if they would consider an offer. You will be able to talk to anybody about anything for the rest of your life. I am telling you, nobody talks to. Do you know how many people have actually talked to 1,000 strangers? Like literally talked, like had a conversation. It's like
Very few.
Very few.
Yeah.
That's the reason why there's the top 10%, 5%, 1%
Are
income
the wealthiest
earner.
people. Yeah.
That's it. Pastor Joy Martin. Hi, Brent and team. I learned so much. I've never done a JV deal before. Just spoke with a wholesaler. He has a vacant lot under contract. Part 2. Anything over 18,000 he can do, and later we can do 50-50. Please advise. So anything over 18,000 he can do. I'm assuming that he wants 18,000. Oh, anything over 18,000, he'll split 50-50 with you, I assume. So he's got it locked up at 18,000. He wants to sell it with you. He needs your help selling. Well, first, if you have buyers, put it in front of the buyers.
Yeah.
But typically, go ahead.
Get a JV agreement
Yep.
in place. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that's part of the question or not, but
I think he's asking about Jay being
yeah.
a partner with Jay.
Yeah, always get a JV agreement in place in writing.
Where do you get one?
Do you guys, I have a super simple one we can share.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can put it in a JV agreement. It's a joint venture partnership agreement. All it is that if somebody else has a contract on a property, you're tapping into their ability to sell the property,
Right.
and you're splitting it. You got to have something in writing, so you're part of that deal. Because if you find a buyer for that property, come back and then present it to that wholesaler or that person who's pushing the deal, they can bypass you if there's nothing in writing. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
It's all hearsay. So, yeah.
And I would also say, Joy, if it is a actual deal.
Yeah.
So make sure that you run your numbers, and then you have to say, then you have to, look at it and say, do I have a buyer for this? If you've got a buyer for it, then yeah, get loud about it. But we help people sell it because we've got a big, robust buyer database. But if you don't have that yet, I would suggest that you go source your own deals. I would. I mean, if you want a JV, that's cool. But you got to build up your cash buyer database. Yep. Oh, hi, Brent. Adane. Hey, Brent, I have this real estate agent that sent me a deal that is about to be on the market. He sent me the contract that says assignable, but not. That's it?
Yeah.
That's the whole comment? He sent me a contract that says assignable.
That's kind of like when a movie ends and
Yeah.
then you feel like they didn't close the loop.
There's got to be
Yeah.
a sequel. There's got to be a sequel.
Yeah,
But
there's
not released from liability, that does not mean I cannot wholesale it. I don't know what's going on with
Oh,
the
okay.
comments
There we go.
today.
It says what? What's the rest of it?
But not released from liability.
But not
does
released from liability,
mean I cannot wholesale it.
meaning that you can't wholesale it?
I cannot wholesale it.
He sent me a contract that says, I don't know. So basically, you have a deal that, well, first of all, is it a smoking hot deal? Okay. First of all, is it a smoking hot deal? If it's not, then don't mess with it.
move on.
But if it is, then you have a couple options. If he's saying, hey, listen, I want to work with you and I'll give you this deal, but you can't assign it because I want to make sure that you get it closed and I don't want things getting goofy, which real estate agents that understand wholesale and do wholesale deals, they'll put that in. So you have a couple options: double close it or double escrow it, or buy it. That's what you do. If you can't assign it, you can't assign it.
Yeah.
If you're agreeing to not assigning it, then you can't assign it. Now you can always say, hey, listen, man, I love this deal, but I need to be able to I need to have the ability to assign this, or I can't do the deal. You can fight them that way. It just depends. Depends on which hill you want to stand on. So if you can't assign it, then if it's a smoking hot deal and there's enough profit built in there and you're very confident and you're willing to risk your earnest money, do a double close, double escrow. Right? Good.
Austin Ball. Austin. I'm having a hard time pre-qualifying because of the price. A lot of sellers say, make me an offer, but how do I do that if I haven't seen the inside of the house? So you get this a lot, right? And so I'd honestly just look at the motivation of the seller. If they're not willing to give you the information you need in order to make a qualified decision, then that's the first thing. Well, what makes you, what is keeping you from letting me see inside the house? Maybe it's a tenant or whatever the reason is, but I'll educate them in that way. It's like, hey, I would love to get you an offer. I want to get you an offer, but I want to make sure I'm not wasting your time.
Yep. I can't get you an offer without an idea of the condition. So tell me, what remodeling have you done to the kitchen and bathrooms in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
Right? So, Austin, this is the lead generation part of this, right? This is you calling up and ask them if they would consider an offer on their property there. They go, yeah, sure. How much will you give me or make me an offer? It's in the script. It's in the TTP script, all right? So the condition is very important. And so you want to open that up first. Remember, at this point, it's cracked open. That door's cracked open a little bit. So now you get to slip in and go, okay, well, can you tell me about the condition of the property? It's really important for me to be able to give you a solid offer on this property to understand what you've done to it. I want to make sure that you get credit for that. So tell me, what remodeling have you done to the kitchen bathrooms? Talk to me about the roof. Tell me about the pool equipment. Tell me about your boiler. We don't have those here. Yeah. Water heater, air conditioner, whatever it is, you start getting that and they'll start opening it up. And then from condition, you go down to timeline. Okay, great. Well, typically, just to let you know, with our offers, we can close and get you your money in 2 weeks to 30 days. Will that work for you? No, I just wanted to see how much you would offer me. Oh, I get it. See, so you're not really wanting to sell the property right now.
Yeah, you called me.
Yeah, you called me. No, I just wanted to get an offer. Okay, got it. And now you know that there's no motivation, move on, right? Or if you want to dig for motivation, you could try to see if there's something. But if they give you the condition and they give you the timeline but they're not giving you a motivation, they're not motivated.
Right.
They're not motivated. The condition and timeline are set up to get you the motivation, which then leads you
to the price.
To the price, baby.
There's always ways of cracking that conversation open too. So one thing that if we haven't gotten access to the property and we still got to drop a number out there, we'll give them a range.
Yeah.
We can pick a range between 70% and 85% to make it enticing at the beginning of the conversation, and tell them, listen, it's all subjective. It's all dependent on the condition of the property.
We won't really
need to
know
take
until
a
we
look
can
at
see
it,
inside. Yeah.
But this is, we can be at 70,000 to 85,000. The number moves depending on how you have it. So
yeah, I'd like to find out why I can't see inside the house for the first, because anybody
He's just
can
saying
say,
if I haven't.
Yeah.
It's not that he can't. Garrett.
Ryan needs to do a crash course on locking up deals. He knows what to say every single time. Love it. Garrett,
bro, he
awesome,
even got
man.
your
Thank
bicep
you.
in there.
But I'm still learning. The moment you think you know everything about this industry is the moment you start losing deals.
Yep.
And so I thank you so much for that. But I want to make sure that I'm still reading. I'm still learning from you guys with all of your questions. So I still feel like I still have some ways to go.
We'll put him out in front of you more. Did we get any fire? Did he get some fire? Good.
I got fire.
You got some fire.
One of the comments said to have him wear a tank top on the.
Oh,
on the next
done.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that what's
Done.
happening here?
Yeah.
Hey guys, how do you wholesale a property that is occupied with a tenant with a lease, either monthly or yearly lease? Yusuf asked that. Great question. A couple different things. One, you're probably going to have to sell it to a buy and hold investor. So there's a whole different size
niche,
deal typically there. Typically, if that's the case, the deals are smaller. The amount of people that are willing to take over a property, typically you're looking for bigger companies that just need numbers. They just need bodies in there. They need these properties, right? To hit their quota of whatever their goals are to pick up properties during that time. But for the most part, if they're month to month, you're going to look to get them out of there.
Yeah.
If the property needs some renovation, even if you're selling it to a portfolio buyer, because typically the leases are undervalued and the tenants haven't been pre-qualified by these the people that own the portfolio, so they want to make sure they get the best people in their properties possible. It could be those people, or it could be somebody else that they want to get in there. So that's how we do it.
The month to month is a little bit easier to navigate. Those year-long leases, buy and hold.
Yeah.
That, and also keep in mind that, find out whether or not the rent is performing, meaning that it's current rent rates. If it's under the regular rates, it's going to be a little tougher to structure a deal.
Yeah. And honestly, Yusuf, we do not come across a lot of motivated sellers that just locked up a year-long lease.
Yeah.
They just don't. They know they want to get out of this, or they haven't had a lease in a while. When they're on top of things and they sign a new lease and then they want to sell it, they want to sell it for retail. They want it just to take it off their plate. They want to get full market value for it. So we don't run across that very often. That it's a smoking hot discounted deal, but they've got a year lease on it. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Good question.
Riley,
how do you recommend communicating with buyers? Is it normal to follow up with them after sending them a property that meets their criteria?
Yes, Riley.
Yeah.
Listen, this isn't Ryan's department. This is Jeremy's department. We'll bring him in here too. But listen, a couple different things. So when you're starting out, you need to get as loud as possible with all of your deals. Until you build up a reputation for bringing really good deals to the market, you're not going to have this feeding frenzy that you think unless you get it in front of everybody. You might send out the emails and you might have 500 or 1,000 emails that you pulled and cobbled together and traded up for and squatted up for and send it out, but they don't recognize your handle. They don't recognize your email. They just see a subject line. So one, your subject has to pop, pop, pop. It needs to just really be like, they look at it on their phone and it's just like they have to open this email, right? A hot off-market property in this zip code or this area or this neighborhood or whatever it is. You got to get it to pop, right? Off-market always makes it. Putting in wholesale deal, 3-bed, 2-bath, that type of stuff is not going to move the needle at all. Be very, very specific in your subject, and then get on the phone and call everybody until you have the reputation that you guys better open up my email or you're going to miss out on this deal. It's the truth.
Just a little case in point to that. So we have segmentation on the buyers, right? So we have an A-list buyer, we have VIP buyers and whatnot. So we break it all down. One thing, we sent a property out recently, that one I was talking about earlier, the $78,000 spread. So we sent that out and we got offers where we're going to make $30,000 and then $40,000. So we sent it out via text, via email and whatnot. After that, we got some interest, and my dispo calls me, Renee, and he goes, "Hey, listen, we have an offer at 30 and then another one at 40,000."
Yeah.
We're like, "No, it's too low and too soon. Start making phone calls." So he actually, I asked him to pick up the phone and call 15 people that we had on our hot list. So they hadn't even seen the property. They saw the property. We followed up via phone call with these sellers. We actually called out to them, these buyers, and the number went up to $78,000. It's
just with the follow-up.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to do that kind of stuff. Have a short
and
list
people,
that you can reach
some of
out
the
to.
best buyers, they just don't see it, or it goes to spam, or they haven't checked their email or whatever else. So you got to get on the phone, call them, text them, email them, whatever it takes, especially as you're starting to get rolling. Pick up the phone.
Yeah, think about the money you would have left on the table had you not had him just make those 10, 15 calls. You know, yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
another banana in your fruit
Another
basket.
banana in your fruit in your
Actually,
bunch.
Brent, if people pay attention, they can add another bean to their bean burrito.
Wow,
How's that?
another bean.
well, there
We
you
got
go.
banana and bean. I don't know.
How's
I
that?
don't know.
How's
There's
that
a lot
bean?
of food.
There's
I'm
yeah.
Mexican,
Maybe
bro.
we
Like-
stay away from the food
All right,
reference.
another tool in the toolbox. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think that's gonna work.
stay.
Yeah, it's nice and safe.
That's why it's there. Antonio,
I tried.
how do you talk with a seller whose house is completely distressed but doesn't want to move or sell? Roof is done, hoarder house, 80-year-old man. If they don't want to sell,
They don't want to sell. Yeah, their motivation isn't there. I mean, who's in their life right now? That's my question. They're 80 years old. There's obviously a health thing going on. You know, who's in their life? Is it a daughter? Is it a son that maybe is trying to get them to move a little bit? So that's the person you really want to talk to really get the story as far as the timeline and all the things that are involved with with what's going on with the house. Because maybe they don't want to sell, but there's an adult like kind of a assisted living type of thing, like a health issue that they really don't have a choice, and so you want to get that story from whoever's caring for them.
And listen, it's going to sound cruel to say this, but they're one fall away from moving. Truly, I mean, it happened with my grandma here the last few months. She fell in the middle of the night, broke her hand. And now, she's in a assisted living facility. Fortunately, it's next door to me. It's this big, beautiful house that's next to me that she lives in, so I get to see her all the time, and that's great. But it was one fall, and now she'll never live in her house ever again. Yeah. So I would say that you need to communicate. Go ahead.
Yep, sorry. Yeah, we're working with someone right now.
Yeah.
An older lady, she's like 85, and she's fallen a whole bunch of times, and so her daughter is wanting to get her out of the house. And she's with it. Like mentally she's sharp. And so she knows she doesn't want to do it, but she understands what's going on. And so it's not my place to go, oh, well, then you should sell and this and that. It was more like, well, what do you want to do? I understand you don't want to move, so what's going to help you stay put?
Yep.
She goes, well, I don't know, maybe I can just rehab the place and like do this and that. And I go, okay, if that's what you want, I'm here to help in any way.
Yep.
Like if you need contractor referrals or somebody to help you towards that. And in my mind, it's like, I know you can't prevent. If you're falling and it's a health hazard for you, like your safety, like you're going to have to move. But I want to make sure that she knows I'm in her corner in whatever direction she's wanting to go, and then it's going to kind of fall into line. Yeah.
It's timing, Antonio.
Yeah.
Just stay in front and build a relationship.
Yeah, just have
And
conversations.
if the best option for them is to sell it cash, which it sounds like it is, a hoarder house, typically you have to. Nobody's going to lend on that. It has to sell for cash. Just keep serving them.
Yep, that's it.
Help them out. Bring them food.
Yeah,
Ask them if
all
they need
those
help.
things. Be memorable.
All those things.
Be
Yep.
memorable.
Chris, once you text or call and don't get a response, what do you recommend for follow-up?
Keep texting and calling, and then if the house is nearby, I'll go knock. I'll go knock on the door. I'll leave a note.
Yep.
Hey, sorry to bother you. I tried to get a hold of you on the phone. I just wanted to let you know.
We had a great
who I am.
conversation. Yeah.
So just keep going. For whatever reason, people either are busy or they look at your text because it's the same text they're getting from 10 other people trying to buy their house, or the same call or whatever it is, and so you're just part of the bunch.
I like doing the passive pull away. So, hey, listen, Chris, I've been trying to get a hold of you about your property. You had said that you had wanted to sell or were considering an offer. Completely understand if you don't want to sell it anymore, but if you could just let me know either way, that way I don't keep bugging you, that would be great. Yeah. You know what I mean? So put it right on the nose, but it's also a pull away, Right. I don't want to bug you. If you're not in the position to sell right now, or if you've already taken care of it, that's great. And you can phrase it any way that feels good to you, Chris. Yeah. Have you already taken care of the property? Is this already off your plate? Whatever it is.
It seems like you've sold it or you decided to hang on to it.
Yeah. Let me know either way. I don't want to keep bugging you.
Right.
Love to get you a solid offer. Neff, look at this guy.
Neff.
Wow, handsome devil.
The jacket.
He's got higher hair than
good look.
He's got more hair than I. Man, oh man, that is awesome. Can you direct me to an offer agreement purchase? ttbinsider.com. TTB Insider, brother, we got it all in there. Get in there and download it there. I always suggest, and listen, if you don't I always suggest that you get that. It's gonna give you something to go out there and put properties under contract. But I always suggest that once you do start a relationship with a title and escrow officer or closing attorney, to sit down with them and just say, hey, listen, this is what I want to do. I'm out there. I'm proactive. I'm putting together these deals. I'm either going to buy them and hold them. I'm going to buy them and flip them, or I'm going to buy them and wholesale them. What's the best contract for you guys to make your job as easy as possible, so that you see it and you know you don't have to read through every single line. You know what it is, because their job is to interpret that. Their job is to follow this. This is their action manual. Is the purchase contract. That's what the title and escrow company does. They go through it. They make sure they understand the terms. They put it all together. Okay, here's the roadmap for this transaction. Is the purchase contract or the purchase agreement. So see which ones they like using the best, and you're going to make a lot of friends in the title and escrow business. Jeff Turner, there he is, closing massive deals. When do you take leads that on your calling platform and start sending them texts in addition to calling them? We do both.
Both.
Automatic.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah, Jeff, we don't distinguish between these are just texting leads and these are calling leads. If we have a phone number, we're going to get a hold of somebody.
I like any form of contact. I'll tell our assistant acquisition guy, Chad, try to get all forms of contact. Phone number, email.
Is he your assistant now? He's going to watch this.
No, assistant acquisition guy, not mine.
He's a junior acquisition.
Junior. What's the difference?
You basically just put him as an assistant to you.
You missed up, Brian.
Yeah, you did. He's going to get you,
I'm
man.
sorry, Chad.
Oh,
He's definitely
Chad,
going to hear about
that's
that.
not true. It's
Hey,
not true.
clip this out and send this to him right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Tag him.
So
He's going to give you some rough leads.
I know.
He's gonna give you some rough
I
stuff.
know. So I like email addresses because it's just another form of contact.
Yeah.
If they're not answering the phone, they're not responding to text, I send an email, or I go door knock. But so I like emails too. So try to get one. It's like, hey, a lot of times I like to send my
Social
my
media.
home. Yeah.
You can DM them. You can you try to get a hold of them. But, if it's a very specific property, try everything.
Everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
But both at the same time, Jeff. And Tony, hey, Brent, just closed my first one. What? Why didn't you lead with it? Did he lead with that, or did he just put that in?
It's the first we heard of it.
Come on.
He left that out.
You don't need to know everything or have a system play. Just make the call.
Just make the call.
Of course,
That's
he
it.
made $25,000.
Yeah.
His last name's Cortez.
But I like that. Seriously, just make the call. How many people are just sitting there trying to analyze and make everything perfect? You take that imperfect action and just make the call. Yeah, $25K right there.
25K.
That's awesome.
25K. A fellow Cortez.
Oh, yeah.
Rafael's feeling pumped up.
There it is.
I am telling you, man,
Yeah.
we're taking
He knows
over.
it's in the
this.
blood.
Yeah,
We're
that's
taking
it. You
over.
guys are taking over. That's awesome. Kimberly, hey, Brent, I just skipped trace through Batch and PropStream over 1,000 leads for Tired Landlord. Seems like the numbers that came back were mostly DNC or disconnected. Type budget. What do you do next? Call the ones that you can. And if you can, go to the door. If you feel uncomfortable with that, try texting them.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go. Yusuf, how many dispo managers do you guys have in your company? Also, do you only work on your local market? Do you think it's harder to dispo deal virtually? We have one disposition manager, Jeremy, and we stay pretty much in Arizona. We do some business, but it's more joint venture with Todd Toback out in Florida and his brother Dan Toback, phenomenal guys, phenomenal company. So we work with them on getting them some leads over in Florida. But yeah, you don't dispo managers. One can handle all of it, and to dispo deal virtually, it doesn't. No, listen, Jeremy's not meeting any of these buyers. Jeremy's not going on these appointments. Jeremy does most of these things naked.
Yeah.
He's naked at his house.
Yeah, just sitting on his couch with his computer in his lap. He's
80% of the time he's naked.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a wild guy. Yeah. I mean,
he might have underwear on.
He might. Yeah. So, so Jeremy is. All of it can be done virtually. It all depends on your cash buyer database. Yeah. That's it. Your cash buyer database and building healthy tension with your cash buyers so that you're leaving a ton of meat on the bone for them, obviously, but you're not letting them push you around, and you're not the cash buyers are always going to try to have you sell all of their deals to them, all of them. And they'll all get sensitive if you don't. And so build that healthy tension so that you can get multiple offers, get the price bid up, and get the most out of every deal.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more questions. Ola Jr. 23. Okay. Every time I see 23, I think Jordan.
Jordan.
Right?
I was literally just looking at the Bulls.
Yeah, right. The Bulls. Yeah, there you go. Can you tell me and anyone who is just starting where to find hard money lenders to help fund deals? I love it. So this is, I mean, obviously Google. You could just Google it. Second is a lot of the meetups or the RIAs, Real Estate Investor Associations, have people that sponsor it, and they are the hard money lenders. And that's probably who you want to, go and see and meet face to face and, put it together. But on the flip side, you're going to want, typically hard money lenders are going to want 20% down. So do you have that 20%? So the real question is, do you need to raise that with private investors that are friends, family, other investors, that type of thing? So, I would go to meetup groups and find out. You could post to Facebook groups or whatever, Instagram, and just follow people that are, lending money, or post to the groups and ask who's the best hard money lender in town. And trust me, people will respond.
Hey, Brent, quick question just to kind of clarify.
Yeah.
So we have private money lenders and hard money lenders.
Right.
Can you break those down?
Yeah, private money is what you need for typically the down payment and some repair costs if you're going to be doing some fix and flips. But for the most part, if you're going to be doing double close or double escrows or something like that, it's just for that down payment so that you can get the hard money loan. So private money is more you're raising it from people that you know.
Mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the hard money these are companies that have a license. They're asset-based lenders, which means they look at the property not based on your credit score or appraisal or these other things.
Usually an interest rate involved.
Oh yeah, much higher interest.
Private
12 to
money.
18%.
Yeah, private money is often going to be easier to get than hard money, and then it's going to be a lot cheaper. So
yeah. Or you could just get all private money. Yeah, if you get all private money, then it's you can fund the whole thing with that. Last question. Jade, just started wholesaling a month ago and just got my first 2 contracts signed in the. Are you kidding me? Come on!
I love that. That is awesome.
Fams on a roll.
A month ago. How many calls?
Listen, that's bananas.
She dug in, man.
Yeah. Listen, first 2 contracts signed. Now listen, time to get them sold.
Yep.
Time to get them sold. Now, as much effort as you put into getting those, you need to get loud to sell those deals. It has to be like you are furious to get these in front of every cash buyer in town.
And stay on your seller.
Yeah.
Just because you have it under contract doesn't mean that you just let the relationship go by the wayside.
Got to get it past the finish line to get
Keep
paid.
following up. I'm here for you. What do you need from me? Do you have any questions?
Yep. Bring it on in, group. We had kind of a glitch in the beginning. I think that people could probably see if they missed the very, very beginning. It'll be in the recording. Okay? We've got Rafael Cortez here. We've got Matt Hill. We've got Daniel Walker. We've got Alejandro merch with the plaid. Bring it on in. It's a plaid hat day. We love you guys. Join us tomorrow, Millionaire Before 30. We've got an unbelievable discussion on college or being an entrepreneur. Oh. Yes, it's going to be deep, and we've got an incredible guest. So do not miss that. It'll be absolutely bananas, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Go out there. Remember, keep your house clean, right? Protect your health, and keep increasing your value to your community. You'll live a great life. Till next time. Love you guys. See ya.